Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So good morning friends. Yesterday we have seen one important purpose of constructing dam and creating reservoirs, that is using that water for irrigation purpose. The second type of purpose from this huge quantity of water stored is generation of hydroelectric power. Because once I construct the dam for a larger height and huge quantity of water is stored, we are actually creating a potential energy. When water is released from these dams, then the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. And this kinetic energy is very high, which can be used to generate hydroelectric power. And such studies are called as hydroelectric power plant studies. Because this is green energy and it is a renewable energy, and there is no impact on environment. So let us see what are all the components of an hydroelectric power plant. There are two types of hydropower plant location. One is hydropower generation by incidental. That means the water which is released for irrigation will go through the powerhouse, generate the power, and the same water is led into the canal or river for using it in irrigation. That is incidental power producing hydroelectric power plants. On the other hand, there are certain dams where the power producing water will never come back to the river, or it's not used for irrigation purposes. There the objectives are conflicting objectives. It means the water cannot be used for dual purpose at the same dam. Then what are all the components of an hydroelectric power plant? We all seen this dam, and then they created a reservoir. When the height of the water created in the reservoir is very large, we construct a special size of the pipe with the control gate called as penstock. Penstocks are huge hydroelectric water carrying pipe which carries water from the dam reservoir to the turbine house. And the structure which is specially constructed to take the water from the reservoir is called as intake structure. Hydroelectric intake structure. The water which enters into this hydroelectric intake structure can be controlled by a gate. Once the gate is opened, the water will flow through this large size pipe called as penstock. Since the water is flowing at a large head of water, it goes with very high velocity. And this high jet are made to impact on series of cups mounted on a propeller. That is called turbine. And this turbine shaft rotates in a generator. And because of this flux in the magnetic cut in the magnetic flux, electricity is created, which is led to the transformer, and then in the powerhouse it is controlled, and from powerhouse it is sent to the distribution grid through power lines. And then the water which is impacted on the series of cups will fall down, but still it will have a huge residual velocity. To reduce the residual velocity, that water is led through a pipe called as draft tube. The draft tube will have a sudden enlargement. So when there is a sudden enlargement, there will be a reduction in velocity. And this is led into a small pool of water called as tail race. And then from tail race, it is used either for irrigation or for other purposes. This is the components of an hydroelectric power station. Let us see what are all the other components. So this is another picture where the intake structure is away from the dam face, right? But it is still have the same components as that of a large dam, right? So the major component of hydroelectric power plants are the dam, the turbine. There are different types of turbine depending upon the head and discharge, right? That we will see that in this. So thus a turbine is an hydroelectric machine which converts the kinetic energy into mechanical energy. It means kinetic energy which rotates the turbines, and this turbine converts into a mechanical energy in the shaft rotation, and this mechanical energy is in turn converted into electrical energy. A turbine and pump. A turbine is an inverse of the pump. That means in turbine, kinetic energy is converted into mechanical energy to electrical energy. Whereas in the pump, it is the reverse. The electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy, and this mechanical energy is used to lift the water from low level to higher level, that is hydraulic energy. So these are all the important components. Generator, which converts our mechanical energy into electrical energy. These are all important components of hydroelectric power plant, and then the electricity grid. Right? This is a closer view of the intake structure, turbine and generator. Right? The water which is coming through the penstock is made to impinge on series of cups mounted on a shaft, and these cups will have different shapes depending upon the type of turbine. But altogether, when the velocity is very high and water is drawn from the dam, there will be a fluctuation, and to increase the velocity, a special arrangement is made called as jet, and this jet discharge and velocity is kept constant by a small instrument called as governor. So the governor is located at the end of the penstock to provide constant discharge and constant velocity impinging on the turbine blades. Right? So this is about various components. Let us see what in detail about hydroelectric power plants. Then a dam which contains this hydroelectric power plant as well as the same water used for irrigation is also called as multi-purpose reservoir. So the multi-purpose reservoir project has their main aim at municipal drinking water supply, irrigation, besides hydropower generation. Hydropower is generated by the conversion of potential energy into electrical energy. So water is made to run to fall on blades of the turbine, and this hydraulic energy is converted into mechanical, and then mechanical to electrical energy. There are different classification of hydropower plants. Even though we say in general it is generation of electricity, there are different classifications, different classes of hydropower plants. Let us see how hydroelectric power plants are classified. First classification is based on the hydraulic characteristics, the turbine. Second one is based on their unit capacity, how much is the power produced. Second one is the available head, at what head the turbines are constructed. Then based on the location, then functional basis and nature of the project. We will see one by one. Hydraulic characteristics. How this hydraulic energy is made available to the turbines. Then there are four important categories in this. First one is called as runoff river plant. Then storage plant, cascade and pumped storage. In runoff river plants, the water head needed may not be very large. There is no need of large head of water. Even a small head, 3-meter head of water stored through a weir is used to generate power in a small scale, and that is called as runoff river plant. This is a good example for runoff river plant. Right? This has certain condition, like the river should be perennial, that means the water is flowing continuously, little or no storage is provided and rarely economical. But we are using green energy production. The second one is storage power plant. That means we store the water for a larger height, right? Ranging from 30 to more than 300 meters head. 300 meters head means not the height of the dam. The dam is at very high elevation. Power plant may be at a lower level. So the water is diverted through the penstock. And penstock brings the water from a level of 300 meters level difference. That is what we call it as very high head storage power plants. Medium head power plants when the operating head is between 30 to 300 meters, and low head when the operating head is less than 30 meters. This operating head is the level difference between the water level in the reservoir and the line at which the penstock jet is impacting with the turbine blades. That is called operating head. Okay, so this is an example of the penstock coming out from a dam. Storage power plant itself has two components. One is single stage hydropower. That means what you construct the dam for very large height, single dam, and store the water and produce electricity. On the other hand, if the area of submergence is not available, there is an environmental impact of large dam, then you construct series of small dams. That means you store water for 30-meter height, generate the power, let it to the downstream side. Downstream side again you will have a hydroelectric power plant. Then that means same water is used to generate hydroelectric power plant multiple times. Such a type of hydroelectric system is called as cascade or multi-stage hydropower system. So this cascade plant, the available water is utilized more than once in series. Okay. Then the last category is pumped storage plant. That means it is combination of more than one power. It is the peak head plant at which power is generated during peak period of the load. Then during non-peak period, the water is pumped back from the lower level reservoir to upper level reservoir. Let us see that here this is a schematic representation of a pumped hydroelectric storage power plant. You have a main main reservoir at upstream, and water is inlet through the penstock to the powerhouse. You produce the electricity and water is again led to the downstream reservoir. Now what happens? This power is used to meet the peak demand. The base demand is met either from a thermal power plant or from some other source. And this is supplementary to this thermal power plant which is supplying constant. But the peak demand is met by the hydroelectric power plant. These two are combined in the grid and it is used for industries and houses. And during lean period, that means where the industries and houses doesn't require more power, then what happens? You no need to supply the hydroelectric power plant. That electricity from thermal is sufficient to meet that demand. Then at that point, what happens? You use the additional power from the thermal power plant to pump the water from low level reservoir to high level reservoir. You can see the arrow mark. During peak hydroelectric power, during peak power requirement, water is led from high level reservoir to low level through powerhouse producing electricity. During lean period, that means when power requirement in demand is less, then the same powerhouse, it pumps the water from low level reservoir to high level reservoir. That means in the same way, the water is circulated, and such type of hydroelectric dams are called, power plants are called as pumped storage hydroelectric power plants. So these are all based on the hydraulic characteristics of the powerhouse. Then based on the unit capacity, how much power the generator produces. If it produces 1 to 100 kilowatt, we call that as a micro power plant. If it is up to 100 to 1000 kilowatt, we call it as mini hydroelectric power plant. If it is from 1000 to 5 megawatt, 1000 kilowatt to 5 megawatt, we call it as macro hydroelectric power plant. If the power produced is from 5 megawatt to 15 megawatt, we call it as small hydroelectric power plant. If the power produced is more than 15 megawatt total combined, then we call it as a large hydroelectric power station. Then based on the available head, as I said, this head is the hydraulic head, is the level difference between the water level in the dam to the level at which it impinges the turbine blades. So turbines may be at very low level also depending upon the location. If that level difference is more than 300 meters, then such power plants are called as high head power plant. If it is between 30 to 300 meters, it is called as medium head power plant. If it is less than 30 meter, it is normally a low head power plant. Why we are classifying these different types based on the hydraulic property or the head or unit capacity is the selection of type of the pump to be installed depends upon, right? Then classification based on location, sometimes it will be at foot of the dam, then such a powerhouse is called as dam foot powerhouse, or sometimes it is underground completely. Geological conditions are favorable, you can construct the entire powerhouse below a mountain, huge rock. then that is called as underground power plant. But most of the power plants will keep it on the above ground for safety. Then based on function, what purpose you are constructing that powerhouse? As we have seen in storage powerhouse, that storage power plants are mainly peak load plant. That means whenever there is a peak power plant power requirement, you just start the hydroelectric power station, because hydroelectric can be started in few hours and closed in few minutes. So you don't need a large starting time and large closing time like your thermal and nuclear power plants. It is like a switch on and switch off. That is why hydroelectric power plant can be constructed as a peak load plant. So base load plants are hydroelectric power station which are designed to run at uniform load and generates constant power for longer period continuously. Whereas peak load plants are designed which runs at peaking capacity during peak hours of the day. So that means the peak load plant will work only few hours in a day. Right? So then classification based on nature, I said exclusively there are certain dams designed and constructed to generate power. Such dams are called as power project. But it is very rarely we have this power project. Almost all dams are multi-purpose projects. That means same water is used for hydroelectric power and irrigation, then that becomes a incidental power production. Same water can be used for public water supply, flood control, and there is no pollution due to power production through powerhouse. So then the requirement of hydroelectric power station is two basic. One is the discharge, another one is the head. As I said, discharge comes through the penstock, and head is the hydroelectric level difference between the water level, and then with all frictional losses, there will be a small frictional losses in the penstock. So the net head is the gross head between the water level in the dam to the center of the impinging minus head loss due to friction. That is the net head available to produce power. Then the horsepower produced is work done by 75. So the horsepower generated is QWH by 75. Right? This is simple, straightforward, which you might have studied in your hydraulics engineering. So then there is an efficiency of the pumps also. Not all pumps will work for 100% efficiency. So including the efficiency, the electrical energy generated is the horsepower generated into efficiency. Okay, so it's a straightforward equation to estimate the hydroelectric power generation from a turbine. Right? I just given a simple example. The amount of power generated when meter cube per second of water is allowed to fall through a head difference H meter is given by, right, the same one. Okay, so the power generated is 13.33 efficiency into discharge into head. Okay, this is conversion from horsepower to kilowatt hours. And then now hydroelectricity power is produced. There are three names for this power production. First one is firm power. It's the minimum continuous power which can be generated from the powerhouse throughout the year. Either the dam is receiving very high discharge or low discharge, the minimum power that a power plant can generate is called as firm power. Secondary power is the additional power that can be generated over and above the firm power. Installed capacity is when all the turbines are working at their full capacity. That is the total generating capacity of all turbines in the powerhouse. These are all certain names which you will come across in day-to-day life of hydroelectric power plant production. Then dependable capacity is the load carrying capacity of power plant. Right? It is determined by power factor, capability of the load of the power plant. Right? So dependable capacity is how much power we can depend on this powerhouse. Then load factor is the ratio of average load certain over a certain period to the peak load during the same period. That means when the entire peak demand is met by the hydroelectric power plant, it is the average load divided by peak load. So peak load is combination of constant power from other source and peak load. So sometimes it will be 50%, 30%, 20%, right? It means 20% of the total energy is the peak power. Then the utilization factor is the ratio of water actually utilized for power generation in the plant to the available water in the river. For example, my dam uh, has a capacity of 1000 million meter cube, but I may not be using all the 1000 million meter cube for power production. The volume of water utilized for power production depends upon the installed capacity of the turbines and whether after using the water for hydroelectric power plant, whether it is used for irrigation or let it to the sea without utilization. That is called utilization factor. 100% to 80%, 30%. Plant factor, it's the ratio of average output to the installed capacity. Maximum is 1, that is 100%. That means if I have installed 5 generators and only one generator is working, then that is 20% is the plant factor. If all the 5 generators are working completely and they are producing all the installed capacity, then the plant factor is 100%. Then power factor is the ratio of actual power to the apparent power. How much power is produced and then how much is the apparent power, that is design capacity. Gross head, as I said, is the maximum water head between the elevation of the reservoir water level to the tail race of the water. Net head is gross head minus all losses. Design head is head at which the turbine is installed. Power plant give the maximum efficiency. The rated head is the head at which the turbine produces the rated output at the rated speed of full gate opening. That means rated head is related in terms of specific speed also. Okay, we'll see what is specific speed now. It is rated head. Now this is a small comparison between hydroelectric power and thermal power. Hydropower is cheap and compared to the thermal power station, and it is renewable resource. Water is not consumed, whereas in thermal power station it's a non-replenishable source is used and coal is being consumed faster. And hydropower plant, the pollution-free generation of power, whereas in thermal, pollution and ash disposal, fly ash is the largest output byproduct in the thermal power station, and we are doing a lot of research what to do with this fly ash. Hydropower plants are very high efficient, whereas thermal power plants have low to medium efficiency. Hydropower plants are non-consumable quantity of water, whereas in thermal power plant you need a large amount of water for cooling. Okay. And in hydropower the plant equipment is simple, whereas in thermal it is complicated. And in hydropower the operation is very simple. Just start the turbine, stop the turbine. In few minutes you can start and shut down. But in thermal power station, operation is attended with multiple problems, right? Starting and closing is not that much easy. It's a time consuming process. High extra cost is required in hydropower for construction of dam and dam appurtenance works as well as land submergence. Whereas in thermal power, a small area is sufficient. Rehabilitation problem is a big problem in hydropower, whereas in thermal power, such problems are right. Then I have listed so many other things which is available in standard books also. Hydropower has long life, can produce power until the dams are there, and the stabilization period is 2 to 3 months, whereas in thermal power it takes 1 year for stabilization. In hydropower it is smaller operating work, whereas in thermal it is large operating work. Hydropower has other benefits like flood reduction, navigation, pisciculture, recreation, irrigation, drinking water supply. So many other purposes can be carried out from hydropower plants, whereas there is no such powers from thermal power station. There is huge area requirement in hydropower plant. The area required is very less, more area is required only for disposal of ash. And the operation is dependent on water. When there is no water, we cannot produce hydroelectric power plant. But coal, when there is continuous supply of coal, you can produce thermal power station. And 17, electricity storage is possible. You can store it in powerhouses, transmitters, everything. But in thermal power plants, once it is stored, it has to be led to other places. And this is water is immune to inflation. Coal price continues to rise. High cost long transmission lines, whereas in thermal long transmission lines are not involved because you can generate the thermal power very adjacent to a city. But the high transmission loss is one of the drawback in our hydropower plant. But in thermal power plants, the transmission loss is very less. So like that, we have a lot of advantages and disadvantages of hydroelectric power plants over thermal power plants. Now we will see in detail about the turbines, right? I said the turbines are the machines which converts the hydraulic energy into mechanical energy. It's a very simple, like a small kite which can rotate when you blow air. The same mechanism is used in turbines. There are different types of turbines. The first foremost is impulse turbine, where the energy available is only kinetic energy. The pressure is atmospheric pressure from inlet to outlet. It's an example for impulse turbine. Right? Then second is reaction turbine. The energy available is both pressure energy as well as kinetic energy. Then we have to use reaction turbines. The water flows through the runner from outside to inside or inside to outside. When the discharge is from outside towards the center of the blades, then we call that as inward flow reaction turbine. When the flow moves from center point to the outside runner, then we call that as outward flow reaction turbines. In reaction turbines, there is a circular pipe which goes on reducing in size, converting energy from pressure and as well as kinetic energy. Then according to the direction of flow, whether the flow is tangential to the turbine, it's called tangential flow turbine. If it moves at radial direction to the turbine, that's called radial flow turbine. When the water jet moves along the axial flow, it's called axial flow turbine. It's a mixture of any of these three. We call that as mixed flow turbine. All these things are needed to are classified based on the arrangement of the blades in the shaft. Right? I think this we have seen according to the head at the inlet of the turbine, high head turbine, medium head turbines, and low head turbine. According to the specific speed of the turbine, there are three types. One is low specific speed turbine, medium specific speed turbine, and high specific speed turbines. What it is nothing but it is the speed of geometrically similar turbine which would produce unit power under unit head. This is the rated head. That means the speed of the turbine which produces unit power 1 kilowatt under unit head is called specific speed of the turbine. Right? Depending upon this, also we have three types: low specific speed, medium specific speed, and high specific speed. And some of the famous turbines, let us see Pelton wheel. It is a tangential flow impulse turbine. You can see that series of blades are mounted on the shaft, right? And water jet is made to impact on this cup. And this water, the blades are in a dual cups. So the water jet divides into two equal parts and move a curved path, and then it impinges on the blade, and then the blade rotates depending upon the velocity. And the velocity of impinging, exit velocity, tangential velocity, all estimated using a simple hydraulic calculation called as velocity triangles, which you might have studied in your hydraulic engineering. So this Pelton wheel, different views, right? You can see the size of the human being and Pelton wheel. That depends upon the size and the discharge. Right? The second one is the radial flow turbine, either inward or outward. That is, Francis turbine is a good example for radial flow turbine. I am giving the examples of turbines which you have done as an experiment in your hydraulics lab. Okay. So the second type of example is Francis turbine. It's a radial flow turbine. That means the water comes from the impacting penstock and it makes a turn around the blades. Right? And Kaplan turbine is a inward flow reaction turbine. So the penstock comes and impinges in a circular motion and then it goes to the draft tube. These three are three good examples for turbines. And then how to select a turbine, right? Which turbine I need to select? It depends upon 2-3 hydraulic parameters. The first one is the specific speed and the head. If the specific speed, as I said, it varies from low specific speed, medium specific speed and high specific speed, and then head also varies from minimum head, low head to high head, then you have to select appropriately. We have seen three examples: Pelton wheels, Francis turbines and Kaplan turbines. Or depending upon the efficiency and the specific speed, right? The specific speed, at lower specific speed, Pelton wheels are very high efficient. At higher specific speed, Francis and Kaplan are having higher efficiency. Or it may be a combination of the type of the turbine and head. Pelton wheels are very useful when the head of water is very high and it's an active reaction turbine, or Francis turbine, that is radial axis flow for medium head. If the head of the water available is low, then you go for axial flow reaction turbines. This is a simple guidelines for selection of what type of turbine for your hydroelectric power plant. Sometimes we can use this turbine application chart also. It is conversion, this is a relationship between the discharge and head directly. You can select either a Kaplan turbine, Francis turbine or Pelton. That depends upon your two hydraulic parameters, discharge and head. Right? But nowadays, rather than construction of large hydroelectric power plants, now the water which is flowing and the downstream side of the dams are lifted to irrigate the water at higher level. It is like construction of an inverse of the turbine. So that means you install huge size pumps, lift the water by giving electricity to a higher level and then let the water by gravity to the irrigation fields. So in lift irrigation, electrical energy to mechanical energy to hydraulic energy. This is a good example. The water is flowing in the river at lower level, this corner, and then this water is led to a small reservoir. Water is led from the reservoir, from this small river at a constant level, and it is brought to a small pump house. This pump house is very large capacity pumps, and then this is pumped from low level to high level and then it falls in a system. From there it goes for irrigation by gravity. That means here in this simple example we have given the pumping level difference is 80 meters. That means the water is pumped from a elevation. Here in this case it is 300 meter is the level of the river and 346 is the level of the system. Then from there it goes by gravity. And if I see it from the plan, this is a canal which brings water from the dam or from the river. Then there is a pump house. From pump house it is pumped, right? You can see the diameter of the pipe. Then from here it goes by gravity. And this, all these things happened within a distance of 2. So then this is about hydroelectric power station. Please have a self-study on design and construction of powerhouse. Surge analysis in penstock is an advanced analysis. Surge analysis in pumping schemes. Alternative energy. Small hydropower plants. That is portable. This is what we have to work in future. It is like a generators, right? I have to carry a small portable. The idea is carry hand carryable hydroelectric power plants. Whenever there is a water is flowing in a small stream, you install it there, produce electricity, which should be very useful for the travelers, small villages, right, and places where the discharge is very small. So the research should now move towards in this direction of small hydroelectric power plants, which is sufficient for a house. That is also a good idea of generating small hydropower plants. So this is about hydroelectric power plants, friends. Next class we will see about canal systems. See you. Have a good day.